In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can.
Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the tech zone. Welcome to the tech zone. We on our tech flow, and it's still a global market in case you didn't know. So many guests, we not trying to impress. Just wanna pass off the info. You can do the rest. See, there's no escaping tech. It's part of our lives. Keep every individual connected worldwide. But all this innovation is more than entertainment. It's people like you paving a new way every day. So let your imagination run wild with all the things that you dream about. Cause the tech zone is on now with Paul Amadeus Lane. Blah. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the tech zone.
Hello and welcome to this edition of the Tech Zone. What's going on? I'm Paul Amadeus Lane. You're in the Tech Zone, ABC News Radio, KMET AM. So glad to have you with me on the show. Don't forget, we're streaming live on Livestream, YouTube, iHeart, all the different podcasting services out there. You can catch the show and you can continue to stay abreast of what I have been up to and what I've been doing. You make sure you follow me on social media. There's a lot of pictures that I post, and this really is the Comic-Con edition of the Tech Zone. Now you may ask, what does Comic-Con has to do with technology? Well, my guests that I'm going to have on the show today, they are really behind the scenes of a lot of projects that you watch, listen to. Talking about The Handmaid's Tale. I'm talking about The Man in the High Castle. All the great shows that we watch out there. I'm going to talk to people who are behind the scenes, and we may even have a star from one of the shows pop in, and a YouTube sensation, our social media content creator, join us as well too. Well, it's been a while since I've done my show, and I've been sick. I tell you, these allergies have been something I've never experienced before. I was down for almost 3 weeks, and I know the week that I left to go to Comic-Con, the first 2 days I was out there before the show started, I didn't know if I was going to make it or not, but I am on the mend. I am glad to be with you, and I'm sure you're tired of hearing and watching reruns, but it's all good. But I'm so glad that you guys continue to support the show even when I am not here. And some of our other interviews that we had at Comic-Con with some of the stars, that's going to be on the Entertainment Zone. So stay tuned for new episodes of the Entertainment Zone as we talk to the cast from Supergirl, Arrow, Marvel, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I know Sean likes that one. And other great shows as well. All right. Well, without any further delay, at Comic-Con, I really love what my friends over at Impact 24 are doing. For the last, I want to say, 4 or 5 years, I've been invited to some of their panels in their press room, and I really enjoy going there because they talk about behind the scenes, what goes on, because we're so used to seeing things on the TV screen, on our devices, and we see the finished product. But there is so much more that goes into that finished product that everyone should be aware of. And I like about it too, what Impact 24 does, is that they help ones who want to get into the business know what's really out there by having these experts on the panel. And a list of experts did they have. I mean, if you're watching right now, you can see some of the lists of experts, and all of them, not all of them, but all of them, we're going to talk to on this edition of the Tech Zone. One of the cool things about this business is some of the relationships that you make with ones in the business, from interviewing them and then keeping in contact with them on social media and really supporting them in what they do. And one of my pals out there in the industry is an amazing production director, production designer. He's worked on projects such as Key and Peele. He's worked on Crank Yankers right now. and he's done a lot of things in Hollywood, and his work is fantastic. Now, I didn't let him know that I was going to be in the room. I wanted to surprise him, and surprise him did I. Check out my chat with my great friend, Gary Corden. I'm with my buddy, Gary Corden.
Yes.
How you doing, my friend?
I love you, and I miss you. We should see each other not just at events, don't you think?
I know. Tell me about it, man. You do some incredible things on social, seeing all the things that you're doing. Man, you are busy.
We're always at work. That's why we can never hang out in real life.
We got to change that.
Okay, we got to change that for sure.
And so talk about here being at Comic-Con, man. What's been the experience so far?
See, I love coming to Comic-Con because we spend 70 hours a week on set. We're in this little bubble, creating sets, working on shows, going from job to job, and we never get a chance to we don't go to premieres, art department. We don't get a chance to see that people love the projects that we work on. So there's been people coming up to me saying, I love Key and Peele, I love Crank Yankers, I love Workaholics, and you don't know that until you see the people, and it's really humbling and really special, and it really makes what I do for a living worth it.
And that's why I'm glad we have opportunities like this to let the people know what you do. I mean, because we always see the finished product.
Right.
But you guys are working on this sometime years and many months in advance. And talk about when you first get a project, how do you come up with the concepts?
So when I'm hired on a job, sometimes there isn't even a script yet. Maybe it's a concept or it's an outline. But when I do get the script, the scripts are funny. If you look at them, they say interior living room or interior bunker. But that's it. And then my job is to start doing tons and tons and tons of research, talk to the director, talk to the showrunner, and figure out what their vision is. But also, I'm at a point in my career where I feel like they've hired me because they know what I do, and they've seen my work, and they look at my website. So I'm bringing all of my knowledge and my design sensibility to the set, too. We're doing research, we're doing drawings, pencil drawings, showing people locations, and then we start doing renders, and we're budgeting out the renders and the light, and we're doing full-scale lit drawings for everyone, showing to the other departments, and then we start building them, and now actors are on them. But very often, by the time the actor got to set, we're off designing a whole other episode, sometimes a whole other series, and those are then torn down, and then we're on to the next episode and stuff like that. So it's like you get attached to these projects, and then as quick as you're attached to them, they're torn down, and we're on to the next episode. So you really have to have stamina.
Awesome. And Gary, I would love to talk to you more, but they give me the wrap-up sign, my friend.
All right, so I'm going to hit you up on Facebook, of course.
Do it, and we're going to hang out.
Yeah, and it's so good to see you.
Good to see you too,
I love you, buddy.
Take care. I love you too, bro.
I love you so much.
Take care.
Okay, bye,
good to see you. Good to see you. A huge shout out to my friend Gary Corden, and that's mutual, the feeling we have for each other. He's such a cool guy. He and I have always supported each other, and just delighted to chat with him. Make sure you check out his work and follow him on social media. If you're watching right now, all the social media is on the screen. If not, make sure you check out the video version of this, on YouTube or live stream. Best way to do it, PaulAmadeusLane.com. That takes you through all the portals of all the shows that I do, or you can go to KMET1490am.com and you can check it out as well. So now let's move on to another piece of the puzzle when we experience certain things like video games, and that's the music. What goes into putting something like that together, and how does these things have to marry with each other to make sure that it's complete? Well, my next guest, Jeremy Nathan Tisser, I talked about not only this, but also video games and VR. Check it out. So, Jeremy, tell me how important VR and the experience is, especially when we're watching things and we're experiencing entertainment.
How important it is? Oh, man. I think virtual reality is really the game changer in the next level, right? For so long, we were told as kids, don't sit too close to the screen. Now we're putting them on our faces. But also, it's just making things more interactive. Instead of sitting on a couch with a controller playing, 10 feet away from a screen, sitting for hours a day, we can now stand and physically move around and get our bodies moving and flowing. And I think, to me, that's the number one most important thing about VR. that's changing the face of video games. Is it's turning us from a lazier civilization to getting up and having fun and physically moving around while still being able to enjoy a great entertainment medium.
And how has technology changed over the years to really make what we see now to where it was like 5 or 10 years ago?
It changes so fast. It's unbelievable. I mean, 6 years ago when I got started, 6 or 7 years ago when I got started in virtual reality, we were at University of Southern California, and we had these bicycle helmets with ski goggles with these terrible screens inside of them, and a PlayStation Move strapped to your head, and a Razer Hydra on your chest, all of which went into a laptop that you put in a backpack, and you wore that. And that was how we created the ability to move around a 12-foot by 12-foot space in virtual reality. Oculus Rift hadn't come out yet. This was only 6-7 years ago. Then Palmer Luckey, who had built that setup for us, along with Nathan Burba and Alex Silkin and James Iliff from Survios, Palmer went out and opened his Kickstarter for Oculus. That took off. Then it was, now you've got this headset and you could sit down in a chair and play in virtual reality. Cool. Now they've got the HTC Vive where you can stand up and move around. Cool. Now Oculus has the touch. Then there was the Oculus Go. Now we've got Oculus Quest, which is no wires, no computers, all wireless, and virtually no latency. So you can play a full game now just in this space, and you can bring it wherever you want. So it's just amazing to me how far all this has come in such a short amount of time. And being from the inside of it, watching that happen, to being on this panel and seeing how many people are like VR fans. It's, I write music in a room, I don't see this stuff, so it's crazy.
One of the things that I really try to talk about with VR is the social aspect of it, especially for ones who are physically challenged or have some type of disability. Being able to experience things that maybe they lost or never experienced really just shows the social aspect of VR and what it's going to do for the masses out there, and just how things are going to look 5 years from now. Where do you think things are going?
Well, to touch on that, and I think this one was really important, it kind of made me a little teary-eyed the first time I saw it. The company Survios, I do a lot of their music. They did Raw Data, they made Battle Wake, they made Creed, Sprint Vector, and coming out Walking Dead Onslaught. When Sprint Vector came out, it was essentially parkour in virtual reality. But how are you supposed to run when you're standing in place? So they created a code that basically you use your arms to propel yourself. And what that started doing was the disabled community was able to do a parkour racing game. People didn't have the mobility in their legs anymore, could sit in their chairs with the headset and just race and get their heart rates going. And you sweat. You sweat hard in that game. And it's also, you've got 4 other people next to you or 6 other people all playing in the same game, and you're racing people around the world. So to me, that was just that showed us what VR can do. And again, that was 3 years ago, so we can only get better from there.
That's true. And one thing I like about it too is, let's say for ones out there who are not gamers, let's say if you have a grandmother who's not able to fly, let's say their grandchild is getting married across the world in Italy, you can slap some VR headsets on grandma, and grandma can take part of the ceremony and see what's going on. To me, that's like showing just how awesome VR is going to be in the future.
Yeah, that's, we were talking about that, my uncle and I, we were talking about, let's say you've got a family member, who's bedridden. My grandmother was bedridden for about 5-6 years. They told her she'd had 2 months, so you went 5 years. And the Quest wasn't out yet, so I couldn't show her. But to be able to take her back to Košice, where she was born, or to show her Casablanca, where she lived in World War II when she escaped the Nazis, to show her how these cities are today would have been amazing, because she loves the technology. She loves how everything's evolving now. And, my uncle also, his big thing is medical. Imagine how much money can be saved and how much hands-on training can be gained through VR, rather than having one cadaver where everyone gathers around. You can be in virtual reality or mixed reality or augmented reality, you know, like the Magic Leap headset. If it ever comes down in price from $2,000, then it's basically these goggles where if I've got a table here, I can put on this headset and I can see a cadaver in the goggles, but on this real headset in the world with everyone around it, and you can physically start to immerse yourself and really learn properly, and then you can show details. So like someone like me, I'm visual and oral. I have to hear it and see it to understand it. So if I'm just looking at something here and there's no words around it and I'm not hearing it as well, it takes me a few times to get it. But imagine being able to have like a whiteboard on your screen right above whatever it is you're looking at, and the ability to enhance your learning experience. I mean, how much brighter can we get? How much further can society develop by using technology in a positive way?
Awesome. The future looks bright, doesn't it, my friend?
I sure hope so.
Great talking to you.
You too. Thank you so much.
Huge shout out to Jeremy. Having an opportunity to talk with him about what he's up to, what he's been working on. Really cool cat. I really enjoyed talking to him. Next, this panel also dealt with costume design. And Natalie Brofman, who's a costume designer, she works on one of the hottest shows out there streaming. We're talking about The Handmaid's Tale. And I have a chance to talk to her about what it takes to get these costumes together, how technology even plays a part in it. See, I told you I was going to bury technology in this whole discussion right here, because everything that has to do with the entertainment business deals with some aspect of technology. You don't believe me? Check out my conversation with Natalie right here.
Natalie, congratulations on the Emmy nomination.
Oh, thank you very much.
And so talk about it. What is it like working on the Handmaid's Tale?
It's pretty daunting in terms of just the powerful red uniforms that people have adopted for political protest. I'm quite honored that they're doing it, actually. And I can't believe we're still fighting over the same things still that we shouldn't be fighting for anymore. Anyhow.
And you know, just a powerful visual, you know, is that red, and it's something so simple, but it has so much power.
Well, red is a very unique color because it signifies love, passion, also anger and courage. And usually you need anger to be courageous often, you know, or love, lots of love. And these girls, it takes away that they were just the lifeblood of the society. They're not just vessels, and that's what happened in the third season this year. They're flipping from being just the lifeblood, the fertile women, to being strong, powerful, courageous women, because they're starting to instigate things, which is quite, thank God.
And a lot of people don't realize how important you are to the series, behind the scenes, the creation of the thing that a lot of people associate the show with. And talk about, what did it take to create something like that?
For me, it takes a lot of research. I usually do historical research through artwork, old photographs. I also read, not just obviously the book, but just I read different passages. For example, one of our characters, he's very Byron-esque, and I actually did pick up some Byron and read a little, and then I looked at the paintings of that era and sort of modified and applied some of those things in like Commander Lawrence, for example, Bradley Whitford. With the wives, for example, the commander wives, which is really the only thing you can, for design phase, let's say, you can kind of go a little bit outside it's not outside the box, but it's within the box. You can tailor, and you can play with the tonality of colors. I sort of look at them as the women in that bucolic 1950s, early 60s. Hi, honey, you're home. Here's your drink. I know I shouldn't bother you because you had a hard day at the office. You know, it's that kind of perfect wife. So that kind of research from that era. Also, Jackie Kennedy, I would take, Grace Kelly. And I take that for our ladies.
And we live in a very modern time.
Yeah.
Is it hard to create something like that using all this modern technology and the modern colors to make it look the way you intend it to look?
Oh no, I have the best team. We have the best dyers. I actually also take from those historical photos and things. The research. I actually take the actual colors that they used to use back then. Teal is a very 50s, 60s color. Do you remember the cars? And they were all teal. Yeah, it's that kind of Yeah, and then the red, for example, the teal is blue-green, and the red we have is like a reddish-orange, which on the color wheel is a beautiful synchronicity of colors. It's very smooth and it's beautiful. And the way we shoot it too, we have a greenish tinge on our lenses that Reed Morano and our first director sort of instilled, and it's been kept throughout the whole show. It's gorgeous.
Some kind of coordinating, right, with my green and teal and everything?
Yeah. I'm not wearing red, but but you are.
What's been the most memorable part of working on this amazing production?
I mean, the actors are brilliant. I've never seen an ensemble that is quite wow. Like I love having fittings because we have these great, we have debates. There's some of them that are more political. Others are more, they're a little more artsy creative. Like I have discussions about art, about politics, about everything. I think my favorite part, I don't really have one. I like it all. I like it all.
That's cool. So as we look at being here at Comic-Con, and now the fans are able to see you are the person behind the scenes of some of the great things that they're able to watch. How does that make you feel getting your props?
Well, it's my first time here, so it's I didn't really understand what Comic-Con was, and I started asking my friends, and oh, you have to go. I was like, okay, because I'm a little shy, so it was a bit, but yeah, I'm seeing other people's beautiful costumes and the work they put into it. It's brilliant. I almost want to say, you want to come work with me, So yeah, it's great. It's great being here.
I might have to have you design me a costume one day.
No problem.
I look forward to seeing how the Emmy nomination, turns out. And when you win that, I'm gonna say I know her.
Okay, thank you.
Great talking to you.
Nice talking to you. Thank you.
Congratulations to Natalie again for being nominated for a 2019 Emmy nomination. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Awesome stuff. And you probably had no idea all that went in trying to create a costume. You probably thought she went to the blue store. That's what we used to call Salvation Army growing up in the hood. But you probably thought she just pulled something off the rack. But to see what all they have to go through to make sure that everything is perfect. And if you're a big fan of The Handmaid's Tale, then you know about how that red cloak just pops out there, and it's an integral part of the series and the show. All right, we're going to take our first break here, and when we get back, we're going to be joined by some more composers, a moderator of the panel, and another costume designer, visual effects, all that great stuff when we get back with more Tech Zone coming up after these messages. I'm Paul Amadeus Lane, and you are in the Tech Zone.
I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the Tech Zone.